Mr. Speaker, to the agreement today, you'd be forgiven for thinking on the basis of what the Prime Minister has said and in the Chamber and indeed earlier today that it had absolutely nothing to do with him, that all those problems were nothing to do with the Conservative Party or indeed him as a government minister. So what happened a couple of years ago? Were they simply being opportunistic when they put this in place? Were they incompetent when they put this in place? Or were they simply duped into believing that something was up and ready when quite clearly it was not? I have no doubt that the public will draw their own conclusions in that regard. But broadly speaking, Mr. Speaker, broadly speaking, I'm fully supportive of the agreement. And I'm fully supportive of the agreement for three simple reasons. Three simple and interwoven reasons. It seeks to safeguard peace in Northern Ireland, something which we all know is incredibly important. It seeks to protect the Good Friday Agreement, which I think everyone in the Chamber would agree is incredibly important. And of course, because it seeks to provide a pathway back to the democratic institutions in Northern Ireland being able to sit. Now, it's not for me to pontificate about democracy in Northern Ireland, but I sincerely hope that those parties involved will be able to come to an agreeable conclusion, and I know the Prime Minister shares my views in that regard. But, Mr. Speaker, whilst all of that is good, we cannot and we should not forget the damage which has been done by leaving the European Union. Brexit has been an unmitigated disaster, and they don't have to believe me, Mr. Speaker, because what they should do is read the OBR, who outlined that there would be a 4% hit to GDP as a result of Brexit. Or perhaps they should reflect upon the fact that the trade deficit between the UK and EU is at its highest level on record. Perhaps they could listen to the private sector, those businesses who are unable to trade, those businesses who are unable to get the workforce that they require, those businesses who are unable to get the goods that they need. Or perhaps they could listen to the public sector, who of course are facing severe problems as well, many of them driven by workforce shortages. Indeed, many of the problems which encompass and face all of our NHSs across these Isles come from the fact that we have significant staff shortages in social care. Each and every one of those points, Mr. Speaker, is a result of the disaster that has been leaving the European Union. And I just find it astonishing, Mr. Speaker, that we have a situation where the leader of the Labour Party and the leader of the Conservative Party are hand in glove when it comes to their position on Brexit. But just finally, Mr. Speaker, we heard integrity of the United Kingdom spoken about at length by the Prime Minister. Indeed, I think it was reflected upon by the leader of the opposition as well. But whilst there may be a scintilla of truth within that argument, what this deal does not do is create parity for the nations of these isles. Because what it allows, and I see the Northern Ireland Minister sitting there who was very positive about this in an interview earlier on, it means that businesses in Northern Ireland have access to the single market, whereas businesses in Scotland do not. Now, I do not begrudge that to the people and businesses of Northern Ireland, but I do regret that Scotland does not have those same opportunities. So on that point, can the Prime Minister just clarify why Scotland is at a significant disadvantage in that regard on his watch? And does he not agree with me that the only way for Scotland to have access to the single market, the only way for Scotland to have access to the customs union, the only way for Scotland to rejoin the European Union is to rid itself of Westminster?
Prime Minister.
Minister Ivan McKee.
We welcome the Windsor Framework, which offers an opportunity for the UK to reset its relationship with the European Union. However, the Prime Minister, by setting out his view that the framework puts Northern Ireland in an unbelievably special position, has accepted that Scotland is not a major competitive disadvantage and has made crystal clear the immense damage the UK Government's hard Brexit deal is causing to Scotland. Despite voting overwhelmingly to remain, Scotland has been forced out of the EU, out of the single market, of the customs union, and we have lost freedom of movement rights, which was so important to the Scottish economy. The Office for Budget Responsibility confirmed last week that as a result of Brexit, long-run UK productivity will fall by 4%, which is the equivalent to a loss in annual national income of around £100 billion compared with continued EU membership. Given this hard Brexit, supported not just by the current UK Government, but also by the Labour Party, it's clearer than ever that it's only by becoming an independent country that Scotland can regain the huge economic benefits of EU membership.
Claire Adamson.
Thank the Minister for his answer and concur with my concerns over the Office of Budget Responsibility report. Can he give any comfort to Scottish businesses right now who will continue to suffer by a damaging, hard Tory Brexit, and what he can give them in terms of comfort as they look across to Northern Ireland and see the advantages that Northern Ireland will have over Scottish businesses with access to the free market?
Minister.
Yeah, of course we recognise, as I've said in my earlier answer, the damage that this can do to the prospects of Scottish business, and of course the Scottish Government will continue to work with businesses in Scotland to support them as best we can, given the damage that the UK Government is doing by these steps. The people in Scotland are given a clear mandate for a referendum on Scotland's future. Scotland, of course, has huge economic potential, but the UK economy, particularly post-Brexit, is now lagging behind many EU and international comparators. So should the people of Scotland vote for independence when given a choice, Scotland will get the full range of powers and the ability to rejoin the EU to build a country that is wealthier, more successful and fairer than the UK.